Designing in Canva is fast, but it can get frustrating when elements keep shifting, won't snap into place, or feel impossible to organize. We all have been there trying to drag an icon just a few pixels, only for the whole layout go to haywire. In this compilation, we are going to stop the struggle. I've taken my top 3 tutorials on layout control and bundled them together to give you a complete masterclass in precision. We are going to cover how to group your elements to save time, how to use alignment tools so everything looks perfectly professional, and how to lock your layers so you never accidentally move a background element again. Whether you are working on your PC or on the go with your phone, these are the essential hidden tools that turn an amateur design into polished final product. Stop fighting with your canvas and start designing with confidence. Let's get into the details. Trying to move one part of your design only to have the rest of it stay behind is a massive waste of time. You end up clicking, dragging, and nudging every single icon or text box individually until you finally get it right, only for one accidental click to ruin the entire layout again. If you keep working this way, your design process will take 10 times longer than it actually should. I'm going to show you exactly how to log these items together so they move as a single unit. And if you stick around until the end, I will show you a specific trick for handling complex layouts like tables and grids that most people struggle with. The reason your design feels so clunky right now is that Canva treats every single thing you add as an isolated object. It does not know that your logo and your brand name are supposed to be a pair unless you tell it. Think of it like a messy desk where every piece of paper is loose. Every time you try to move the desk, the papers fly everywhere. Grouping is basically the way you put those papers into a folder so they stay exactly where you put them, no matter where you move that folder on the page. If you are on a computer, the fastest way to fix this is to click and drag your mouse over every element you want to join together. You can also hold down the Shift key and click each item one by one if they are scattered around. Once they are all highlighted, look at the floating toolbar that appears right above your selection and click Group. If you want to be even faster, just press Ctrl and G on Windows or Command and G on a Mac. Now, when you click and drag, everything moves together perfectly. To undo this later, just click the group and hit Ungroup on that same top menu. Working on your phone is just as easy. Tap and hold down on any element until a menu pops up. Then select the option that says Select Multiple. Now you can just tap every other item you want to include. Once you have everything you need, look at the toolbar at the bottom of your screen and tap Group. To separate them later, tap the group once and select Ungroup from that bottom bar. The pro tip for today involves those tricky elements like charts and tables. You can actually group these just like icons, but keep in mind that individual cells inside a table usually stay fixed to their internal structure. If you are designing for mobile, sometimes Canva will try to resize these groups automatically to fit the smaller screen. So always double check your alignment after grouping complex data. Now that you have mastered grouping, you should look into how to use layers to keep your background elements from getting in the way of your new groups. Your Canva designs look messy because you are trying to move elements one by one, and it is killing your workflow. If you want your graphics to look professional, you need to master the position tool to get pixel perfect alignment every single time. Most people struggle with this because they treat every text box and shape like an isolated object instead of a cohesive layout. This leads to uneven gaps and tilted headers that scream amateur. Stick around until the end because I am going to show you a shortcut that lets you snap everything into a perfect grid in about 2 seconds, saving you from doing the manual math yourself. The reason your designs feel off is usually due to poor spatial awareness between elements. When things are just a few pixels out of place, the human eye picks up on that lack of symmetry, even if you can't quite name what is wrong. You might think you have a steady hand, but dragging things around freely is the fastest way to break your layout. To fix this, we are going to use the selection method. Start by holding down the Shift key on your keyboard and clicking every single element you want to move together. If you have a lot of items, just click and drag your cursor over the whole area to grab them all at once. This creates a temporary group so you can align them without making the grouping permanent. Now, look at the top toolbar on your desktop and click on Position. If you don't see it, click the three dots labeled More. This menu is your best friend for organization. To put a single element exactly where it belongs on the canvas, use the Align to Page options. You can hit Center, Top, Left, or Right to snap that object precisely to the edges or the dead center of your page. It removes all the guesswork. When you have multiple items selected, the menu changes to Align Elements. This uses the boundary of your selection as a reference point. You can pick left, center, or right for vertical alignment, or top, middle, and bottom for horizontal alignment. To get those uniform professional gaps between your shapes, click the spacing icon and choose to space evenly, either horizontally or vertically. If you need to make a pattern, just hit Ctrl plus D to duplicate your element first. For the ultimate precision, go to the Advanced Settings in that same menu and enter the exact X and Y coordinates. This is how you get things to the exact pixel. If you want to see the math as you work, go to File and select Show Rulers and Guides to see exactly where your elements sit. Now that your layout is tight, you should check out how to use Canva frames to keep your images just as organized as your text. You are working on a perfect layout in Canva when one wrong click sends your background or a tiny icon flying across the screen. This happens because Canva treats every layer as a movable object by default, and your mouse is naturally going to grab whatever is on top. It is a total productivity killer that turns a 10-minute design into an hour-long struggle. I am going to show you exactly how to freeze those layers in place so they stay put no matter what you click. Stick around until the end because I have a specific trick for managing large groups of elements that will save you from ever having to fix a ruined layout again. The reason your elements keep jumping around is that Canva prioritizes selection over stability. When you try to click a small piece of text, the software often thinks you are trying to grab the large background image instead. It is like trying to draw a fine line on a piece of paper that isn't taped down to the table. Every time your pen touches the surface, the paper slides. To stop this, you need to use the lock feature to effectively tape your design elements to the digital canvas. First, you need to identify which element is causing the most trouble. Usually, it is your background or a large shape. Click that element to select it. Once it is highlighted, look at the top toolbar right above your design area. You will see a small icon that looks like a padlock. Click that lock icon once to secure the position. You will notice a small lock symbol appear on the element itself, letting you know it is now unmovable. This prevents you from accidentally repositioning or resizing it while you work on other details. If you need to make a change later, simply click the locked element again and hit that same icon in the toolbar to toggle it off. Now, if you have a complex layout with multiple items that need to stay together, there is a better way than locking them one by one. Select all the elements you want to stay in formation by holding the Shift key and clicking each one, or just drag your mouse over all of them. Right-click and select Group, then hit the lock icon on the entire group. This keeps your entire layout stable even when you are dragging new items onto the page. Now for that pro tip I promised, if you find yourself constantly locking and unlocking things, try using the position button in the top menu and clicking on the Layers tab. This lets you see every single item in a list format. you can click the log icon directly next to the layer name in that side panel. This is much faster than hunting for tiny icons on the actual canvas when your design gets crowded. If you want to take your efficiency even further, you should check out how to use Canva keyboard shortcuts to speed up your entire creation process. And that's how you take full control of your designs by grouping, aligning, and blocking your elements. You have essentially built a safety net for your creative process. You won't have to worry about those accidental clicks ruining your process anymore. If you found this compilation helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps me keep creating these deep dives for you. If there is another Canva feature you find frustrating, or want me to break down in the future, drop a comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, good luck with your next design project, and I will see you in the next video.